Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today is Monday, which means it's time for an episode of Loadout, the series where you guys, the viewers, get to pick a gun and customization for me to use. The way you do this is you leave a comment down below letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with, and I will pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode. Now, many of you have been asking me to do a loadout in honor of France. Now, unfortunately, none of those comments were upvoted high enough for me to actually consider them as top comments, but I decided to just kind of average out the comments today and pick a loadout that represented all of those together. So I picked the Famas, the French assault rifle, and I've put an EOTech on there because I was looking at pictures of French soldiers, and a lot of them were running EOTechs, and that's fortunately in Battlefield 4. And then I put the laser light combo because it looks the most similar to the laser sights that they put on the Famas there. So I just wanted to make it as accurate to the actual Famas that soldiers would actually use. And I've also put the angled foregrip on there because it makes the Famas so much more enjoyable to use, and I actually wanted to enjoy this loadout while I was running around with it. Now, I have done a French soldier loadout way back in January of 2014. Kind of crazy to think about how long this game has been around and how many loadouts we've gone through so far. I mean, we're almost at 200 episodes of loadout, which is totally nuts to think about. But I gotta say, the Famas is a great assault rifle for dealing with one person. I mean, it does massive damage, 1,000 rounds per minute rate of fire, making it easily the fastest firing assault rifle in the game. So for close quarter combat, it is unbeatable. The only downside is that you're stuck with that 25 round magazine, and when you shoot 1,000 rounds per minute, it can be pretty easy to chew through most of your magazine. Although if you get used to using this weapon, you can kind of sort of tap fire, or I wouldn't even say tap fire, but do a very small controlled burst, and you can usually kill people a lot faster than you would think. So you just do a quick small burst, kill one target, quick small burst, kill another target, and that'll usually allow you to kill multiple soldiers with a single magazine. Now, the laser sight is also great because it allows you to hip fire this weapon in CQB, allowing you to not have to aim down sight, making your time to kill even faster. I mean, this gun is just unrivaled in terms of kill ability in CQB, and it's great for that. And of course, it has to be balanced out to pay for this by one, having an extremely long reload time, so you almost have to switch to your sidearm if somebody else is coming at you in close quarter combat, and two, its accuracy at range is just abysmal. I mean, you can kill people at range, you can really try and tap fire your recoil control to get it under control, but it's probably one of the worst assault rifles out there for those long-range firefights. I mean, medium range, it's workable, but you're going to go through most of your magazine to kill one target. Now, if you love being an extremely aggressive player, closing the distance, getting close to your enemies, and wasting them there, then the Famas is absolutely your weapon. It's a lot of fun to use. If you like switching to your sidearm a lot in combat because it feels cool or whatever, then the Famas, again, is going to be good for you. And the G18 does complement this loadout in terms of it being exclusively close quarters. I mean, you could run with something like a 44 Magnum and use that for some of your longer range kills, but ultimately I don't think it's going to make this an extremely well balanced loadout. You may as well run with the G18 just because you don't have a huge magazine with the Famas, and you're going to need something powerful to switch to in CQB that you can rely on. Not to say that the Magnum isn't powerful, but if you miss your headshots in close quarters, then you're pretty much dead. Now, I tried using this weapon a bit more in rush game mode, so you'll see that I use a lot of my weapons in TDM because it's a good way to get lots of kill footage and try it out in a bunch of different situations. But rush is interesting because there's just certain choke points or certain points in rush where you're trying to get to one set of MCOMs or defend one set of MCOMs, and all the combat is long range. And that's where running with the Famas exclusively gets kind of frustrating. And if I wasn't locked into one loadout, that's where I would have switched it up and played like recon class for a bit until the enemy started getting closer to me, and then I needed something more powerful for close range combat. And you'll see that a lot of my combat on rush, I'm really looking at targets long range, and I have to just wait till they get closer before I start opening fire. And it limits what I can do as a player, and it limits what routes I can take as a player. If you have an assault rifle that's more adaptable, can deal with threats at close range, at long range, all that stuff, then you can pick any route that you want to go. But if you have the Famas and the G18, then you're limited to close quarter routes only. You've got nothing to deal with people at longer ranges. So it just limits what you can do as a player, and it's part of the reason why I always like adaptable loadouts. I don't like to be limited with my strategies. I like to be able to approach situations from any angle, because especially in game modes like Rush, if you are limited to the close quarter route only, then you could find yourself in a situation where there's like 10 enemies waiting for you to peek around a corner, and there's not a lot you can do, or it's just a bad situation. You really want to take a different route to get there, but you don't have that as an option. That is one thing actually about Battlefield maps in general, is they don't seem like they're designed to facilitate every kind of class or every style of play. There's far more long-range environments in Battlefield 4 than there are close-range environments, or at least to get to the close-range environments you have to cross long-range environments. So it can be very, very hard to play as a class that only can deal with targets at close range. Hopefully in the next Battlefield game they'll start to implement some design philosophies to their maps that allow you to incorporate every style of playstyle, even when playing Rush. You know, there should always be a way to approach a target for close quarter combat that's well covered, and then there should always be like a long range approach as well, so you can kind of divvy up your approaches based on what kind of class you're playing or what kind of strategy you want to run with. So as much as I love the Famas, it's really only good for team deathmatch game modes, and even then some of the team deathmatch maps have enough long range in them where the Famas isn't going to be particularly effective. So it's very good for certain maps. Golmud Railway is a great one because you have no problem closing the distance there, assuming that the match doesn't go on for 400 tickets, because once these buildings come down, then the map turns from close range into long range, which is kind of cool that the map can adapt like that, but I don't think it was actually designed for long range, because the long range combat once the buildings come down is actually really bad and not that much fun to play. But until then, the Famas is kind of king of this map, and it's cool, but you just have to know when the weapon is appropriate, because if it's not appropriate, you are not going to be a happy camper. You also notice that I'm running with the grenade launcher, as it gives you so many options in terms of how you want to move through a map that has lots of destruction. Every wall becomes a new avenue of travel. And that's something that I like, because it gives you just so many flanking routes, and especially if you know somebody's in a building and they're watching a door for you to come in, all you got to do is blow up that wall and hit them from behind. So you don't even have to face your opponents head on when running with something like the grenade launcher. Now I also decided to equip some flashbangs here for some tactical entry, just to mix it up from time to time. I really feel like you can run with just about any grenade in this game and do alright, have an alright time. Flashbangs can be fun for room clearing, and on Golmud, where there's clearly people held up in some buildings, it can be useful, especially for getting up to the top level. You'll see me use one here, throw it up a stairway where I think somebody's waiting, get the hit marker, get up there, and that guy is probably totally blind, able to take him out without him even reacting to me. Anyway, that wraps it up for this loadout, and I just wanted to say to any of my French subscribers that you have my sympathy and that the world has your back in the war on terror. Don't forget to leave your comments for next week's episode, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.